The Serendipity of the Bookstore. In the heart of a bustling city, tucked away on a quiet street, was a quaint little bookstore named Whispers of Time. It was a place where the scent of old pages mingled with the soft melodies of classical music playing in the background. The bookstore was owned by Mrs. Harlow, a kind elderly woman with a love for romance novels and a knack for matchmaking. One rainy afternoon, a young woman named Emily wandered into the bookstore. She had always loved the rain, finding comfort in its steady rhythm. Emily had been in the city for a few months, working as a graphic designer, but she felt a sense of loneliness that the city's crowds couldn't cure. She sought solace in the familiar comfort of books. As she browsed through the shelves, her fingers brushed against a worn-out copy of Pride and Prejudice. Smiling, she pulled the book off the shelf, only to find another hand reaching for the same book. Startled, she looked up to see a young man standing beside her. He was tall with dark hair and warm brown eyes that seemed to sparkle with amusement. "Sorry," he said with a grin. "I didn't mean to steal your book." Emily laughed softly. "No worries. You can have it." But the man shook his head. "How about we share it?" "I'm Liam, by the way." Emily hesitated for a moment, but then smiled. "I'm Emily." And so they found a cozy corner in the bookstore, sitting side by side as they read the book together. They took turns reading passages aloud, sharing their thoughts on the characters and the story. The hours flew by, and before they knew it, the rain had stopped and the sun was setting. As they reached the end of the book, Emily felt a sense of contentment she hadn't experienced in a long time. She looked at Liam, who was watching her with a soft smile. "Thank you for sharing this with me," she said. "Thank you," he replied, "for making a rainy day so much brighter." They exchanged phone numbers before leaving the bookstore, promising to meet again. Over the next few weeks, they explored the city together, visiting museums, parks, and of course, more bookstores. Their connection grew deeper with each passing day, and soon what started as a chance meeting became a love story that neither of them had expected. Years later, on a sunny afternoon, they returned to Whispers of Time, now hand in hand. As they walked through the familiar aisles, Liam pulled out a small velvet box from his pocket. With a smile, he knelt down on one knee and opened the box to reveal a beautiful ring. "Emily," he said, "from the moment we shared that book, I knew you were someone special. Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she nodded, unable to find the words. She knelt down beside him, wrapping her arms around him as she whispered, "Yes." Mrs. Harlow, who had been watching from behind the counter, smiled knowingly. Another successful match, she thought to herself as she quietly returned to her romance novel. And so, in the very place where their story began, Liam and Emily's love story reached a new chapter, one filled with joy, laughter, and a lifetime of shared adventures.